Good morning again. Okay, if you saw the first part of our video, you saw that Mr. Lee did a really great job of framing up this lesson on the resources that I shared with him from the library, and then how he's integrated them in the classroom. At this time, he's going to show specifically how he's using the OER resources in the classroom, but then also how he and his students are using Google Groups, which I think is really important as we look at the transition to one-to-one. This is one of the, I think, exemplary ways to show how this can be used in the classroom. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Lee. Let me turn the camera around.
All right. So yeah, we just got done talking about OER a little bit, and something I was doing previously was using Google Groups. So on this lesson that my class is working on now, I've kind of combined the two together. But just a little bit of reminder on OER Commons. This was a resource that we found on Jefferson's ideology. My students are reading Jefferson's Son, a historical fiction book in class, and a few days ago I asked them to read this short article and make some comparisons from what they've read here to what they're reading in Google Groups. So, a little bit about Google Groups. Things that I've done in the past are some online discussion boards, and they've always been really useful. I've done this on my some master's courses online, even undergraduate courses, did this kind of thing where I make an original post and students will reply, I mean not students, but classmates will reply to each other. So I thought, how could I use this in the classroom too? Because it's really useful seeing what other classmates have to say and being able to respond to them. So did a little research, and I thought Google Groups would be a good way. So under Google Groups, you can create all the groups, very, very easy interface. I've got a group created for all my classes. So we'll go to third period here. And you can probably do it multiple ways, but I like the welcome message. This is where I posted my assignments, right there on the welcome message. So as soon as they go there, they see the assignments for the day. You see some that I did back in November, and then this one that we've done right here a few days ago, the assignment for 12/12. I included the website to OER Commons for Thomas Jefferson's ideology, and what I'm going to ask my students to do now, they've been reading through their classmates' responses, and I'd like them to brag a little bit on their classmates. If they read one in particular that they liked, some particular insights. And so we have all my classmates, my students here that have responded. And I think Kale said he wanted to brag on somebody right off the bat. So, Kathleen, let's find Kathleen.
Should be
What did you like about what Kathleen said? Kale?
I just think it's good.
You think it's good?
There it was. It was right there.
There we go. I think I'm off.
You had it there.
Okay. Kale, think about what you liked about what Kathleen said that you'd like to brag on a little bit. Load it up here. Go ahead and tell us, Kale.
I just like this.
Okay, anybody else read some of Kathleen's?
She used really big words.
Really big words like what?
Let me look.
Who else likes really big words?
Appreciation.
Beverly?
Tranquility.
Tranquility?
She used presidents.
Agriculture.
Agriculture.
Agriculture?
She spelled Monticello.
Okay. Okay. So Kathleen said during his presidency, Thomas Jefferson grew a deep appreciation for farmers. Farmers were mostly the majority of the population, including himself, and Monticello being a prosperous farm. Jefferson's celebration of agriculture ignored the fact that slaves work on the richest farmland in the United States. Jefferson argued about African Americans' racial background, not allowing them to become citizens. Thomas Jefferson was also known to own about 200 slaves, making people question his opinions about slavery. Very good, Kathleen. Excellent. Yeah, that's kind of the core conflict, one of the main conflicts, right, between Thomas Jefferson, this guy that wrote the Declaration of Independence, that all men are created equal. It's one of the core themes of the book that y'all are reading. What's that?
I thought we were supposed to reply to her.
No, we're not replying on this one today. I just kind of like to hear you guys reply on those, out loud. So when I say brag, think about the replies that we've done in class before. So kind of speak specifically to what they had to say. Anybody else like to brag on someone? Brooks?
On Kathleen, I think it's weird how, like you said, he wrote the Declaration, but then he has
all these slaves, and on the website it said something about him, like having the richest farm, but like in the book it says like how he's like running out of money and stuff like that. So
Did anybody else write about, financial matters from his ideology? You did? Let's find yours, Brandon.
Oh no. One sentence long. That's not sentence long.
Yeah, Brooks, that's another kind of contradiction of Jefferson, because like you read, as president, he was very frugal. He wanted to reduce spending, national spending, wanted to shrink the size of government. But how did he manage Monticello? What was his spending like in Monticello?
Wine and books and stuff.
Wine and books and entertaining guests and renovating, endless renovations, just spending all kinds of money and passing that debt on.
And that French wine.
He liked that French wine, didn't he? Okay, Brandon, what part in here are you kind of talking about finances? Okay, it also says that Jefferson had the richest farm in the United States. I don't approve of that statement because he was running low on money, right? Yeah, he had plenty of farms which inquired for tons of loss of money, are accounted for. He may have had the richest farm before or during the time of his presidency, but in the book it states that he was running out of money. Yeah, so y'all are nearing the end of the book now, and what's the situation like financially?
Running low.
Well, I finished the book.
They don't have enough
And,
money.
The ending sucks.
Yeah.
Finish it. I read it last night.
So he's incurring lots of debt. Okay, anybody else? Who else is going to brag? Carly? Okay.
Brag on Lily's because
Lily?
when I wrote mine, I pointed out like the differences, and I think she did a really good job of pointing out the similarities.
Okay. So you kind of focused on some differences, and you like that she talked about what are some things that she took note of?
Like there was like a little tiny side caption, and it had like a picture of Sally Hemings, and it was like an accusation that he was having an affair with her, and that's what the whole book is about. Is like his sons.
Yeah. Talks about Eston in here. It also states, Lily said, it also states in that book, in this article, that Eston Hemings was just alike to Master Jefferson. Okay. Did anybody write about the DNA stuff that was mentioned?
I didn't know George Washington was a slave.
I have, but it's not posted.
I wrote
Okay.
that. Look at Riley Grant.
I saw George Washington.
I wrote about Eston here.
George Washington had slaves, freed them all eventually, though.
Finishing
The
this.
DNA. Yeah, guys, that's something that's interesting too. And if you guys would, go back to OERcommons.org. Okay. Let's spend a little time looking at that resource. You can just click on the link. It's at the very top of all those posts. My post has that link on there. Go back to this. I want to show you something.
Where'd that last sentence from? Sorry, my fault, I can't see that.
For all his greatness, Jefferson did not transcend the pervasive racism of his day. Well, that's another thing that's kind of a contradiction with Jefferson. He's one of the guys on Mount Rushmore, one of our greatest presidents. And he was still kind of had a racial view, inferiority of African Americans. And you see that in the book, the fact that he never freed slaves, the fact that he talks about how he felt like it was his paternal instinct, like a fatherly figure, to take care of them but not free them, because he felt like they wouldn't be able to take care of themselves. So he's a great man, but at the same time, he still kind of held on to some racist views, Okay, over here on the left-hand side, y'all see these links. So OER Commons provides all these really good links here. Y'all would go down to about the third blue box there. It says Monticello, the home of Thomas Jefferson. And click on that. Just reading through some of these links as y'all look at that side, down here it says Jefferson and slavery. That'll take you to Monticello's website and a part of it there. Thomas Jefferson on politics and government. All kinds of really cool links. So go into that website though. Y'all see where it says plantation and slavery at the top?
Yeah.
Okay. So I had y'all read an article on Thomas Jefferson's ideology. You don't get a lot of that in Jefferson's Sons. There's some connections that y'all made, some differences you pointed out. What I'd like you to do now is try to find some information on Monticello.org that really closely relates to what you're reading in the book. So See if you can find any key places or key people. Okay, so if you click on plantation and slavery, I'm not going to do too much of it here. I'm going to let y'all kind of do a little exploring. But this should come up here, over here on the left-hand side. Oops, come on. Over there on the left-hand side, do y'all see where it says Mulberry Row?
Oh, I'm looking at getting a
Which
word
part of it?
African American families of Martin.
Okay. A lot of good resources here that will take you some information that directly relates. I have found numerous things looking on here. See what y'all can find. Take a minute now.
It's 3 minutes.
Let's not do that right now. That's kind of distracting a little bit. You have headphones, you can.
So after looking at this, what I think, as a school librarian, one of the things that we can do is, of course, Mr. Lee didn't have any problem finding materials, but as a school librarian, we can serve as a resource for teachers that are apprehensive about creating lessons like this, and we can help them find materials and help curate that so that they can be successful in creating a lesson like this one. Of course, this is still a work in progress, and I'm really anxious to keep up with Mr. Lee and some of our other teachers where we can, we can show some of those exemplary lessons and grow together. So stay tuned for more. Thanks for joining us today, and I hope you found this helpful. If you have comments or you see ways that we might improve this, please share them in the comments below, because this is something that's very new to us, and we're all learning together.